Swami's grace, and I would like to begin by offering my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of beloved Bhagwan. We were doing an experiment in our biology class, and this was to measure the hemoglobin in our blood. And we had a hemometer in which we could measure the hemoglobin. And I saw there was one boy who was not very well built, and his hemoglobin level came 14. I thought mine will be 16. For some reason, I thought it had to do with the build. My hemoglobin level came to some 12 and a half or something. It's not as if it's a terrible problem, but I felt, oh my God, what is this? Rest of all of my other classmates have got it at 13 or 14. And I'm the only one in the 11, 12 category. So I began to say, Swami, please, today you must give me vibhuti. You give vibhuti to people who are having fever. The other day I saw you give vibhuti to a boy who had a pimple. If you are ready to give vibhuti for a pimple is so simple. I mean, it's just a pimple, right? You definitely must give vibhuti because I'm having hemoglobin shortage. Hemoglobin, it's a big thing, Swami. Like, I felt it's a real big problem. So I said, Swami, whatever happens today, you must give me vibhuti because I'm having a major problem. I'm having a shortage of hemoglobin. So that day during darshan, as Swami came walking, I was somehow in the first line. I got up and I said, Swami, hemoglobin. He didn't even allow me to complete. He just said, sit down, kucho, sit down. Made me sit down and walked away. And I felt, what is this, Swami? What injustice is this? I mean, if you don't want to give vibhuti for hemoglobin shortage, I understand. But I have seen you given it for pimple. Pimple definitely doesn't qualify. It's not life-threatening. It's nothing. Pimple doesn't deserve vibhuti. This is how we judge also. This is how we think, We think, Swami, you're giving interview to that person just because he said that he lost a job. I've lost my parents, Swami, and you're not even looking at me. What sort of injustice is this? My problem is bigger than his or hers. This is how we judge, This is how we think and get into the morass of sadness and frustration and despair. Because we forget that whatever Swami does is best for us. He knows not just this life, he knows us across lifetimes, and he knows what is it that we need. We need to have faith in that. That's why in the beginning Swami says, I give you what you ask, so that one day you will ask what I have come to give. We never reach that at all. He gives us what we ask for some more. As children, we ask for toy cars, we grow up, we ask for big cars. The size of our toys grow, but we don't evolve at all. And that's why after a while, Swami says, shut up, don't ask. Don't ask. Because you don't know what is good for you. You're asking things that will bog you down again. But well, I felt this is absolute injustice, Swami. You're giving it for pimples. You're giving it for fever. You're giving it for cough and cold. And for hemoglobin, you're not giving. What unfair, Swami? Hemoglobin and... Swami went ahead, he walked and he reached almost towards the far end of where the gents were seated. And there to a devotee, Swami began to wave his palm and create vibhuti, And this was a distance of about 50 meters away from where I was seated. And I don't think anybody had ventured that far before, to go and give a handkerchief to Swami. But this day I was desperate, so I got up and I ran the 50 meters. And before Swami could complete giving vibhuti to the person, I was there by his side with a handkerchief on my palm. And then, what the Lord does? He looks. It's almost like he sees, oh, you have come. It is you. He moves the handkerchief that is on my palm and wipes that entire vibhuti onto my palm and walks on. I felt very thrilled. The Lord touched me. I felt so happy. It was almost like Swami telling, why do you want your handkerchief to be blessed? I'll bless you. I came back to my place, and it is only a few moments later I realized that's there. Swami has given you. Swami has given you what you asked for. It's not even like Swami didn't give you. He just gave it in a manner that you didn't expect, that's all. And already you got disappointed. These are things that happen to us in life. We pray to God for something. We don't even know if that is good for us. Because In my own life, I know many cases, many instances where I have prayed for something and I have repented after I got it, wondering, oh, why did I get it, Swami? No, it was better without getting it only. So I ask from Swami for stuff that I don't know which is good for me. And even though Swami has not refused, he gives it in a manner that I am not expecting, then I get disappointed. He gives it a little later at the perfect time when I need it the most. Till that perfect time comes, I am feeling sad, thinking Swami is not giving. The only way to overcome all this, this was another lesson that I realized. Even to this day, my hemoglobin is still 12 only. It's not gone up. But my faith has got reinforced. I know that if my hemoglobin is 12, it's because it's good for me, that's all. If it's good for me, it'll be 11. And when I say good for me, it's not possibly my body and mind. It's good for me as a soul that's progressing towards Swami across multiple lifetimes. Different karmas have to be worked out, different things have to be worked out, and therefore it is like that. That was another beautiful incident. In fact, as I said, we had this opportunity to give handkerchief to Swami whenever he materialized Vibhuti. And on one occasion, this occasion when Swami wiped Vibhuti onto my palms and made me so happy, I had gone running 50 meters, right, to offer the handkerchief to Swami. And that was when Swami had moved the handkerchief and applied Vibhuti on my palm. I had felt very happy. But a few days after that, the next day in fact, there was an announcement made in the hostel during the lunch session. All of us were seated during the lunch session. And the warden made an announcement saying that it looks very indisciplined when students run so far, to give handkerchief to Swami. Swami will not like it. The warden was doing his duty. He said, and therefore, nobody should get up and run to give handkerchief to Swami. And I thought, this is the end of the chance. But that day, that particular day, Swami comes, stands bang opposite to me. He is closer to me than he is to the devotee with whom he is talking. Begins to wave his palm to create Vibhuti. And I need not even have to get up from my place. I just had to stretch out my hand. Swami received the handkerchief. And I felt, oh God, Swami, thank you so much. Thank you so much. But there have also been instances when something else happened. While offering a handkerchief to Swami. When the warden announced like this rule would be in vogue for about a couple of weeks. Because after that, on one occasion, Swami materialized Vibhuti for somebody and looked around and said, nobody is there to give handkerchief. So from then it's again allowed back, Swami would only do this when Swami punishes directly by saying something or indirectly in this manner. It is for a lesson to be learnt. Once that is learnt, he would again revert back